Great, thank you. Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just gonna jump right in because they're clocking. You know how they do.
Yes, yes.
Starting with J. August, I have to because in Vampire Academy you play a royal, which is so fitting because for my generation, you're already vampire royalty. You played Gun. I mean, you are a key role in the Buffyverse as Gun on Angel. And I just want to know, how does it feel to be back in that vampire world?
Amazing. I have always wanted to come back to the vampire universe, especially as a vampire, because obviously I wasn't one before. And I always felt like David and James and Julie were having all the fun. So now I get to play a vampire. I play Victor Dashkoff, who is a royal vampire, as you mentioned, which means I'm one of the 12 heads of family. And I'm sort of in charge of like godfathering Lissa into the royal society. And, you know, Victor has an agenda. You know, he wants equality in this society because it's very steeped in a caste system. You know, there's social hierarchy, and Victor's totally against that because his daughters are adopted, and so they're not given royal status. So he thinks it's his mission to change the society and make everyone more equal, as well as the Dhampirs, who are in charge of guarding us royals and non-royals alike. So that's one of the things that I'm super connected to with this character. And it's ironic that I'm getting to play a vampire, but the minute I read the character, I was like, the first thing I have to do is find the humanity.
Absolutely. And you do a great job. Wait, do you ever get fangs?
I can't answer that. I mean, I shouldn't answer that. Should I?
You're a Moroi.
They have to watch and see.
They have to watch and see.
That's how they're vampires. That's how they.
I have fangs. Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, Victor has fangs.
He's always wanted fangs, and he got fangs.
Yes.
And for you, Sisi, you play a guardian, and this is not your first time being very active in fighting in a sci-fi picture. Was the training harder or easier than Mortal Kombat?
Oh my god.
That's
you know what's so embarrassing about it is, so I trained for like 3 months prior to Mortal Kombat, and I had like a one-on-one martial arts trainer, and we did a bunch of stuff. And so when I came into this and we got into the gym, all of us, I was like guns blazing. I was like, guys, everyone step aside. I've got this. Just
take over the
watch and learn. And then I fell flat on my face for months, to the point where like we were on our like 3rd last month, and I was like, you know what? I've got it now. The other 4 months, not as much. So I definitely came in with way too much confidence because of Mortal Kombat. But I got there in the end, and you know, the stunties managed to pick me up off the floor and make me look all right. So thanks to them.
And Anita-Joy, your character starts a little unassuming. You know, it's like we see you and then we don't, and then it's like, oh, you got layers. What we doing here now? You know, so whenever there's a character like that has all these kind of hidden agendas, I wonder how similar or different are you than the character you play?
Well, that's a very good question.
Wow, I can't wait to hear this answer.
That's a very good question. I think, you know what? I think she's incredibly ambitious. And I don't want to get too much into ambition, because that's a word that sometimes gets slightly, you know, misconstrued. But I think I connect with her in that way, in the sense that as a person, I'm a very ambitious person, but in the right way. Just like her, I think, you know, she is ambitious. She's focused. She has a goal.
Powerful.
She has something she sets out to achieve. And very much like her, I have things I've set out to achieve, and I want to achieve them. And so that's how I think her and I are very similar. And you're so right, like she is an incredibly layered character and creature even, and that's so exciting and amazing to play somebody who is like that, because there were moments when I'm reading the script and it's telling me one thing about how she's supposed to be, but I know from how it's written and from what's happening in the scene, that something else is going on underneath that also needs to be expressed, that also needs to be visible in some kind of way. And even if that's the most delicate way, it's just, it's so lovely, because I think sometimes you get these two-dimensional characters who are, what you see is what you get. And Tatiana is nowhere near that. She really appears very strong and like fierce, but actually there's a real vulnerability there, which as we progress through the series, we really get to see it unfold. But within that, we're not losing her strength or her ambition. It's almost like it's getting stronger as her vulnerability is also emerging. And I think that's really amazing.
And you pull that off.
Big time.
Dude, she's such a good actor. Like everything is there, but it's also kind of effortless. Like but
also I think, you know, we we're bouncing off each other. You know, I get to do scenes with Jay. I had one scene with you, but I had
half a scene.
No, but I had a scene with you, and it's really beautiful. And I think that's where the work comes in as actors. I think that's where we really flourish, and that's how you can tell if someone's good, because we're listening, we're paying attention, we're alive. And we can only be as good as our scene partners. So
and I have to be
partners that are making us that amazing.
Absolutely. And I had to be on the opposite end of these looks and barbs and cuts that Tatiana is leveling to Victor. And for the first 2 episodes, I was like, she probably thinks I'm the most unprofessional actor in the world, because they were so wounding. Like, she'd give me a look and I'd be like, oh. So yeah.
Stone cold.
And then a fun question. I mean, there's tons of different vampires out there in the world. What kind are your favorites? Are you Twilight vamps? Are you Underworld? Are you The Strain, Buffy, Vampire Diaries, True Blood, Discovery of Witches?
True Blood is my favorite vampire thing ever. And I made the mistake of watching with my mother, which it's so inappropriate to watch with your parents. Don't ever do that. But it was just fantastic and every single episode ends on like a cliffhanger, and it just was really great TV. And I loved the fact that vampires were out of the coffin. Like in our world, they don't have to hide because everyone's a vampire, but in True Blood, they come out of hiding and they have synthetic blood. And then there's the stuff about, you know, essentially being allergic to silver and they can't go into the sunlight. I love all of that. I really love the way they set that up. I love True Blood. True Blood's my favorite.
Can I say this as a fun fact? Like I told you in the beginning, I always wanted to come back to the vampire genre. And so I auditioned to play Lafayette in True Blood. And I thought for sure that was going to be my foray back into the vampire world.
No, this is gonna
Isn't that hilarious?
This is it, but I know,
great. And the late Nelson Ellis, who played Lafayette, when we finally met, he comes up to me, this is our first time meeting, and he goes, so after True Blood, I ended up getting a show called Raising the Bar. And so after that, we met, and he goes, you got a role that I wanted. And I was like, really? You got a role that I wanted? And he was like, I was like, which one? And he said, Raising the Bar. And I said, oh, True Blood. I really wanted True Blood. So that was pretty interesting point. But to answer your question, for me, that movie is The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys are vampires for me because they were scary and cool looking, and they just seem really cool. So that's my Lost Boys.
For me, it would be Blade, because I just was like, Wesley Snipes. Hello.
Hello. Shopping up there.
Right.
Hello. Oh my God. Yeah, it's agreed.
Shout out to Mahershala, excited about the new Blade.
Yes.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali is playing the new Blade. Yeah, you didn't know. Yeah. It's gonna be dope.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So good.
Well, thank you so much. I've watched the first 4 episodes. I love it. I literally held back because I didn't want to get too deep, but it's amazing. I can't wait for the fandom to grow, and you all have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, kid. Thank you.
Thank you.